Legends take longer to develop and are sometimes based on myth. This Fox News series looks at the truth behind the legend. Previously on Legends and Lies, the Patriots.
King George has declared us rebels. He threatens us with death.
May I see you all hanged upon Liberty Tree?
Now it seems we must all hang together, or we most assuredly will hang separately.
Spies everywhere.
We must put a spy behind enemy lines.
Captain Nathan Hale.
If you are caught, you will be hanged.
On this 22nd day of September, the accused, Nathan Hale, has been found guilty of treason against the Crown of England. Have you any last words?
Only that a man should follow the orders of his commanding officer, regardless of the consequences.
Pushed to their limits by an oppressive empire, a determined group of rebels unites under the cause of liberty. Their quest for freedom will unify a people, ignite a revolution, and forge a new system of government. In time, these brave men and women will come to be known as the American Patriots.
Your Excellency, General Arnold has arrived.
The most feared general in the Continental Army, Benedict Arnold. A seeker of fame and glory, a hot-tempered military genius, and America's most notorious traitor. But behind every traitor stands a man, and behind every legend lies the truth.
General Arnold, this is Lieutenant Colonel Hamilton.
General Benedict Arnold, widely known as the most famous traitor in history for his defection to the British that jeopardizes the entire revolution. But before Arnold betrays his country, he is George Washington's favorite fighting general and a true American hero, which makes his betrayal of his commander-in-chief both painful and personal.
Congress has overlooked your bravery and resilience on the battlefield. For that, I am sorry.
But I have bled too much for this revolution to be passed over by Congress in this shameless manner.
Arnold is a great field commander. He is also senior brigadier, but there are already a couple of major generals. And so Congress then plays this log roll and they pick 5 individuals and they promote them over Arnold.
My apologies for my resignation. I'm afraid I've reached the end.
Benedict Arnold was strategically one of the most brilliant men in the officer corps. Arnold's ego and his ambition made him a very difficult character among his fellow officers.
Benedict, are you not fighting against tyranny and oppression? And for the freedom to pursue wealth without the penalty of unfair taxation?
Arnold's desire for respect and recognition runs deep. Born the son of a wealthy merchant, his childhood is shattered when 4 of his siblings die of yellow fever. Even more devastating is his father's reaction.
The father was arrested for drunkenness, expelled from his church. His family lost everything, and Arnold had to make it on his own.
Desperate to clear his family name, Arnold launches into the shipping business. By age 22, he buys back his family estate. But when British taxes destroy his profits, he joins the New Haven Sons of Liberty and vows to fight back. Arnold rises quickly through the ranks and receives his first major mission to seize heavy cannons from a British fort near Canada. But with no troops of his own, Arnold must impose his orders on the unruly local militia.
This man here says he's in charge now, Colonel.
This decree from Congress supports my claim to lead this attack.
Is that a fact?
It is at that. And just who might you be, my good sir?
I'm Ethan Allen. Just who the hell are you?
I'm Colonel Benedict Arnold. I've been dispatched by the Massachusetts Provincial Congress to lead the offensive on Fort Ticonderoga.
These men have been under my command for over 5 years. They will follow no one else.
Ethan Allen was considered sort of a frontier bandit because he had taken a lot of land in the Vermont territory, and he had a following called the Green Mountain Boys. The boys were into looting, and one of the things that they really wanted inside Fort Ticonderoga were 90 gallons of rum.
Mr. Allen, I propose we join together with the sole purpose of taking Fort Ticonderoga. What say you?
Just don't get in my way, Arnold.
There is here near 100 men who are in the greatest confusion and anarchy, destroying and plundering private property, committing every enormity, and paying no attention to public service. Colonel Allen is a proper man to head his own wild people.
The capture of Fort Ticonderoga is a swift tactical triumph for the Patriots, and Allen makes sure Arnold gets no credit for the mission's success. For Benedict Arnold, this is the first of many bitter fights, as his quest for glory turns his fellow officers into his worst enemies.
Arnold is sent north into Canada. After braving 350 miles of frozen wilderness, he lays siege to Quebec City in the dead of winter, then stalls an invasion by the British Navy, feats that reveal Benedict Arnold as both an aggressive and creative military tactician.
General Burgoyne has marched down from Quebec with nearly 10,000 soldiers and thousands of natives. He has retaken Fort Ticonderoga. General Gates is stationed near Saratoga with 7,000 men.
Washington appreciates the personal sacrifice that Arnold made and the leadership that he used under very difficult circumstances of attacking in a Canadian winter. He sees Arnold's pain, and Washington has really no love for the Continental Congress either. They're not doing a great job supplying him.
Sir, based on my current financial condition, I do not know if I can continue my service in the Continental Army.
General Gates is not a man of action as you are. You are a fierce warrior.
General Washington, you have my word that I will fight until the bitter end, with my last breath.
Arnold was a bit nuts. And Washington kind of liked that because he reminded him of himself. And Washington needed something a little crazy to happen.
While Washington sends his favorite general to the battlefield, there's a new front opening up, behind enemy lines. The espionage war.
Nathan Hale's execution really was a wake-up call for George Washington that these kind of lone wolf operations are not going to work.
I must put a spy behind the enemy lines.
Nathan Hale, commonly regarded as America's first spy. Legend tells us his famous last words are, "I regret that I have but one life to give for my country." But there's no written record from that day, and it's likely those words were made up after Hale's execution.
Major Talmadge is here as requested.
Major, this is Lieutenant Colonel Hamilton. Please sit. We haven't much time.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It is an honor.
Before he died, Captain Hale spoke of you as a true patriot and worthy soldier.
Talmadge was a junior officer, loyal, patriotic, and doing his job for General Washington. He was in the Yale class of 1774. Talmadge was a classmate, if not the roommate, of Nathan Hale, who's been hanged.
Your regimental commander has seen fit to promote you to major. I must call upon you for a less public distinction. I shall require you to manage the Army's intelligence gathering efforts.
Washington saw the advantage of intelligence. He also knew the need and necessity to form a spy ring.
It is a fine line that a trustworthy man must walk, who lives in this world of trickery and yet remain true to his cause.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I will not let you down.
Benjamin Talmadge was a Special Forces agent and one of Washington's most respected aides. He was, in many ways, is the exact inverse of what Benedict Arnold is. Somebody who cared more about others than himself, someone who would avoid personal glory.
With Talmadge off on his secret mission for General Washington, 200 miles north, the British are moving south along the Hudson River, where Continental General Horatio Gates heads them off in Saratoga.
During the Battle of Saratoga, General Gates is not really that present on the battlefield, but Arnold doesn't shrink from a fight. He rallies the Americans and he turns the fight around, and he's really, the hero of Saratoga.
Yet Gates gives Arnold no credit for his leadership.
In God's name!
How dare you?
I saved our left flank, and you stand here peddling lies about me. Get out!
I will not leave until you change your report.
Escort General Arnold to his tent. I'm not finished. You are disobeying my direct orders?
No, I'm resigning.
This is for Arnold's like saying that I have done everything I can to give my all to this cause, short of life itself, and you have said you don't appreciate what I've done. You have belittled me.
But the Battle of Saratoga is far from over. As they face a counterattack from the British, the American troops petition Arnold to stay and fight.
Are you with me?
Arnold saw an opportunity where he thought his leadership could make a decisive difference. Disobeying orders, he went into the field, and everybody believes that his tactics and bravery at that moment won the battle for the Patriots.
In a single shot, Benedict Arnold's life changes forever, and with it, so does the fate of the American Revolution.
Arnold is the hero of Saratoga. His leg wound is not just a matter of bad luck. He shot chasing down a retreating British regiment. If he hadn't been blinded by ambition, Arnold would likely have carried on fighting as a patriot for the rest of the war. Instead, his career takes a dramatic shift, and nearly alters the course of independence.
No longer focused on battle, Arnold clashes with Congress for his lack of promotion and his unpaid expenses.
Benedict Arnold always felt as though life had dealt him a bad hand. Not only did he not get respect and credit for what he did, he was essentially not reimbursed for money which he took out of his pocket to pay his people.
General Arnold, I'm delighted to see you on your feet, dear friend.
We were worried about you, sir.
Thank you for your kind words, gentlemen.
George Washington, he's the one when everybody else from the Continental Congress down to the officer corps turned on Arnold. It was only Washington who stood up for him.
Without you, we would have lost Saratoga and possibly the war. You will mend, my friend. And as a small token of my appreciation for your efforts, I have secured what may prove to be a very prestigious post for you.
What might that post be, sir?
Philadelphia.
As the Continental Army retakes Philadelphia, Arnold becomes its powerful military governor. While his command brings some law and order, he is sure to gain financially, choosing who receives coveted military contracts.
He has served, he has been wounded severely, and so he starts as a governor to take what he thinks is his due.
Clarkson, do you know who that young woman is?
She is Peggy Shippen. Her father is Judge Shippen.
Do request a formal introduction through her father.
Peggy Shipman was someone from a very rich, well-to-do family and also a famously loyalist family. Their loyalty was to the king. And this young woman saw an opportunity to maybe raise her profile and also saw somebody that would obviously give her a lot of respect and a lot of due.
Judge Shippen and Peggy Shippen. May I formally introduce General Benedict Arnold, military commander of Philadelphia.
It is my utmost pleasure to be introduced to you, Miss Shippen, and an honor to meet you, Judge Shippen.
You participated in the victory at Saratoga.
Yes, sir. I led charges in both battles.
I believe General Howe has mentioned you by name.
He may be a wounded warrior, which she may have felt sorry for him, and he is a person who has command presence. He is a major figure at this point in the Revolution.
Against her father's wishes, Arnold marries Peggy Shippen and buys her a 94-acre estate, a wedding gift that pushes him deep into debt.
Benedict, it's absolutely stunning. It must have cost a small fortune.
General Arnold. Ah, news of our happiness has already spread.
He uses and abuses his position as an officer in Philadelphia for his own kind of side business. And for that, he actually gets brought up on charges. And that actually begins the disaffection he has for the Continental Army.
Having made every sacrifice of fortune and blood and become a cripple in service to my country, I little expected to meet the ungrateful returns of my countrymen. But seeing as how Congress has stamped in gratitude the current coin, I must take it.
We shall not endure such insult.
We shall look to higher ground.
Arnold's wife, Peggy Shippen, is from a staunchly loyalist family and maintains contact with a number of British officers. With her husband's pending court-martial, her own reputation is now on the line. Some historians believe that it is she who first explores the terms of defection for her husband.
As Peggy sends a secret message to a British friend in New York, Patriot spies infiltrate the city.
The American Revolution is waged on the battlefield, and then it's waged behind the scenes with a group of spies recruited by Washington, and this is an ongoing cat and mouse game between the British and the American sides.
Sending vital intelligence back to Washington will not only risk their lives, it could jeopardize Washington's fledgling spy network and possibly cost the Patriots the war. While Benedict Arnold's heroics at Saratoga score a decisive American military victory, the British are well ahead in the pivotal espionage war. Desperate to infiltrate enemy operations, Washington spy master Benjamin Talmadge risks a face-to-face meeting with a trusted informant.
Not only did Benjamin Talmadge have to pick out the spy ring, he had to coach them. He had to support them. One misstep, one word out of place, they'd be unearthed and they'd be instantly killed.
I told you to never come see me here. You've been silent long enough. General Washington demands information.
I have one piece of intelligence. Yeah. There's rumor of a high-ranking officer negotiating defection.
Washington was the center of the Culper spy ring, which put spies within Manhattan, which enabled information to be sent to Brooklyn, to Long Island, and across the Sound to Washington's men.
But Patriot spies are not the only ones sending messages across enemy lines. With his conduct under scrutiny in Congress, Benedict Arnold is losing faith in the revolution. And corresponding with his wife's British contact, Major John Andre.
The head of British intelligence, Major John Andre, just so happens to be a former suitor of Arnold's wife, Peggy. Andre is keen to impress the new British commander, Henry Clinton, by securing Arnold's defection.
I've read your proposal on General Arnold. Now I should wonder if he truly has anything significant to offer.
John Andre was bright and articulate and charming and engaging. As the war wore on and Clinton took #1 command away from Howe, he would recognize John Andre as somebody to promote and to bring into his close personal circle.
Sir Arnold is one of their greatest fighting generals. If he were to defect, it would surely be a dagger in the heart of America's morale.
If he were to acquire a post more strategic to our needs...
Brilliant, sir. You are a great strategist. I will get to work on it straight away.
So now, John Andre makes the approach to Benedict Arnold. Get yourself appointed as the commander at West Point, this essential fort on the bend of the Hudson River. Sell that out to the British forces who will take that over. That'll enable them to control the Hudson Valley. Control the Hudson Valley, you control New York. Control New York, you divide the revolution.
Andre's proposal is not wasted on Benedict Arnold. Facing a court-martial and living beyond his means, defection to the British could solve two of his problems at once.
What is it, my love?
Congress found me guilty of malfeasance. Even my greatest advocate and ally, General Washington, has abandoned me. He's publicly reprimanded me.
The military court actually acquits Arnold of all but the most trivial of charges. Still, his greatest supporter, George Washington, is forced to issue a public reprimand. Despite the soft language and praise, Arnold only hears insults and feels personally betrayed. So it is George Washington himself who deals the final blow to Arnold's loyalty.
Then the time has come for us to find a more profitable allegiance.
Yes. Now, my good wife, For all practical purposes, we are British. America has just gone to war with the wrong man.
No longer on the front lines of battle, Philadelphia is a hotbed of espionage. Looking to score an intelligence coup for the British, Major John Andre is pulling strings with Peggy Shippen to secure the defection of her husband, General Benedict Arnold.
Hello. So nice to see you. Oh, you absolutely have to meet my friend, John
Anderson. John Anderson. Pleasure to meet you.
Could you excuse us, please? I bring news from my husband. He is agreeable to your terms as long as you guarantee reimbursement for his expenses and that he receive the salary and pension of a general, plus the agreed upon sum of money.
We can do that. When do we meet?
Here is the information. And with a written agreement of the terms signed by General Clinton, you'll have all the plans you need.
Tell him I will be there.
The deal for her husband's defection could destroy American independence. But Spy Master Benjamin Talmadge is picking up details of the plan. And with intelligence this critical, there's only one man he can trust.
I have more news about the defection. It is a continental general, guaranteed.
Surely, you didn't risk us both coming here without a name.
We have the name John Anderson confirmed in the conversation. But there are no generals with that name. There's also chatter about the British attacking West Point.
There will always be talk of attacking that fort. But the Chains and General Arnold will keep them at bay.
Whatever this is, it is critical. I must go.
Get me a name.
Not only did Benjamin Talmadge have to pick up the messages, interpret their messages, he had to answer to Washington, at the same time know that the culprit spying each and every day was putting their lives on the line, including Talmadge.
As Talmadge struggles to uncover the defector, John Andre arranges to meet with Benedict Arnold, setting him up for the greatest betrayal in American history.
It is John Andre who wants to meet Arnold so he can claim sole credit for pulling off the spectacular plan. For this prestige, Andre ventures behind enemy lines as a spy.
Major Andre?
General?
Andre wanted a face-to-face meeting with Arnold just to make himself comfortable that this was not a phony story and that Arnold really was serious about defecting.
We will both hang if we're caught together.
Of course, I am only able to guarantee £6,000. And of course, full general salary and pension for your help.
Can you even fathom what I have done? I am ending the war for you, and you quibble over pennies.
Wait, wait. I will make sure you are compensated the £20,000 if we are successful in taking the fort and capturing General Washington. Will that be fair to you?
I have included detailed maps of the fort. General Washington crosses the Hudson on September 24th with only 40 men. He will be easily captured.
Excellent.
Under fire from American cannons, the British warship that brought Andre to his meeting flees, leaving him stranded behind enemy lines.
I have a fresh horse for you in the clothes of a gentleman. You will have to ride back tonight. Stay on the roads and watch for highwaymen.
The only answer now is to declare our independence.
America is at war, Dr. Franklin.
Welcome home. For more revealing stories on these and other Patriots featured in Legends and Lies, purchase the companion book, available at BillO'Reilly.com and bookstores nationwide. Looking to bring down the revolution he now despises, American General Benedict Arnold gives British Major John Andre secret plans to seize West Point and capture George Washington. But Andre's ship flees under fire from American artillery. He now faces a 50-mile ride across rebel-held ground.
Andre is posing as just some guy going through the no man's land, which was the Hudson Valley. It was really up in the air about who controlled that. There were lots of thieves on the roads.
Who goes there? A Hessian. And I took you for a rebel.
Oi, Davy!
What Andre thinks are British allies turn out to be a small group of rebel thieves, posing as Hessian soldiers.
Now off that horse before Davy there blows you out the saddle. Search him, Davy.
Andre's choice of clothing is critical. If he had remained in his officer's uniform, he would be considered a prisoner of war. But having exchanged it for a civilian coat, Andre becomes a spy, and when caught, faces the death penalty.
News of Andre's capture is sent to all the regional commanders, including the general in charge of the entire Hudson River Valley, Benedict Arnold himself.
Colonel Hamilton, when should we expect His Excellency to arrive?
General Washington should be here within the hour.
So not only does Benedict Arnold plan to hand over West Point, but he schedules an inspection by George Washington so that Washington will be in West Point at the same time the British come in, take it over. The war might be over at that point.
Sir, this has just arrived for you. The writer says it requires your immediate attention.
Is everything all right, General?
What is it, dear?
It's quite a personal matter. Peggy, would you please accompany me to our chambers? Please excuse us, Colonel Hamilton. We won't be but a moment.
Word comes to Arnold that Andre's been captured, and he knows that he's named in those letters. And so he has no choice but to leave.
What is going on? Benedict? Benedict,
They've caught John Andre, and he will surely be hanged as a spy. But I assure you, it is me they would much rather have on the gibbet. Look at me. My dear Peggy, you must tell them you had nothing to do with my treasonous acts. Understand?
I understand.
I love you.
Hearing news of a British spy with documents signed by Arnold is all Benjamin Talmadge needs to confirm his suspicions.
Talmadge, who has heard these rumors about something afoot with West Point, immediately puts two and two together and says Arnold is defecting, he's a traitor, send a group up to West Point and arrest him immediately.
As Arnold flees West Point for a British warship on the Hudson, Talmadge is already in pursuit. Andre's incriminating papers are delivered to Washington, who's en route to West Point to dine with Arnold.
Where is General Arnold?
He received a personal dispatch and left. He went to his chambers.
Arnold has been conspiring to deliver this fort to the British. He is a traitor.
Washington knows that Arnold's defection is more than a personal betrayal. It will be a crushing blow to Patriot morale.
Mount up and head for the Hudson. Get on your horse!
With his plot to betray the country out in the open, famed General Benedict Arnold is now America's most wanted criminal.
Danger!
Safely behind British lines, Benedict Arnold receives his ransom payment and a commission as Brigadier General in His Majesty's Army.
Suffer not an unjust sentence to touch the life of Major Andre. But this warning should be disregarded, and he should suffer. I call heaven and earth to witness that your excellency will be justly answerable for the torrent of blood that may be spilt in consequence.
I am resigned to my fate, but I detest the mode.
Right before the hanging is scheduled, Washington gets a letter from the British General Clinton saying, I want that boy back. Can we make a deal? Washington makes the obvious counteroffer. You want Andre? Give me Arnold.
I pray you all bear witness that I meet my fate as a brave man should.
This the British general cannot do, because if you give up one deserter, you will discourage others. They can't trust you.
John Andre is an officer who conducts himself as an officer would, and that inspires a lot of sympathy from the Americans around him. And they're begging, please do not execute him. Do not. You can't do this. And Washington says, no, he will be executed.
Washington knows that to win the espionage war, he must send a message to British spies.
Whatever you have to do, make sure Benedict Arnold is hung.
It's one of the moments in his command where he is the most criticized by those who are closest to him, because it's something that's not a military necessity. This is personal.
There is no doubt that at first Benedict Arnold is ready to die in battle for the American cause. But unlike true patriots, his loyalty not only has a limit, it has a price. Instead of a hero, Arnold is remembered as America's biggest traitor. As a British general, he goes on to lead attacks against American forces. But on his deathbed, some historians believe that Arnold finally shows remorse. They report that with his last words, he asked to die in his Continental Army uniform.
Next week on Legends and Lies.
Next objective,
is North Carolina.
The local militia is causing a stir. It's led by Francis Marion.
If you wish to run around the woods like heathens, I won't stop you.
Hold on!